I was talking a lot about purpose and how to use stuff. And for business, there's one thing that comes always up, especially in connection with automatization. People think about, oh, machines will take away all the work and then you don't have to work anything anymore, or AI will take away all the jobs. Well, let's have a look at that, shall we? When you have a business, you can separate it in separate business steps that are aligned to fulfill a certain goal, to solve a problem of your customer or to make his life a little bit better. So that you can separate in jobs basically it's tasks, and then you can bundle tasks together to create a job. You have someone that does packaging, someone that writes articles, someone that cares about the website for supporting this process. And when you have those jobs, you basically have one cell that you can also automate. Now machines, they are automating or working at a task that is very predictable. So you can very easily say, okay, you take a part, you form it, and then you put it out in a certain way. You do this, set this up one time in a really predetermined fashion, really structured, with just no alternatives, with nothing to think about, and then the machine is just working until the parts run out, the machine breaks down, or electricity goes away, there's no energy anymore. But other than that, it works 24/7. Now, when you have a computer doing the work, then what you need to do, you have to tell the computer what job the computer has to do and how to do it. For that, you use computational thinking. You have to look at what kind of problem it has. Maybe you get some data entry from the client, and then you have to process it so that you can then work with it in your business. Let's say that you get some data and you want to put it in an Excel file. So in that you have to tell your computer how to do that. And the computer works very, very fast, but he can't interpret things. You have to tell him clearly what he has to do, and that is done through programming language. And if you have had a look into different programming languages, then you will see that there are some benefits to one and flaws to another, and they change in readability. So some are easy to read and fast to change, some need a compiler, some just run very easy. So for example, if you have Python, you can type a program and run it on every system. You don't need to compile it. You can just write a program with the text editor and save it. You change the ending of the txt into py, and you got a program that you can execute. So now, if you want to do something complicated, you use another programming language. Maybe you use C or C++, and then you have a programming language that is maybe harder to understand, but is working a lot faster, and you can use that in the background of your programs. But it all comes down that you have to take a task, break it down to smaller, easier tasks, because the computer cannot interpret what you want. He doesn't know your goals, so you have to translate it down in one, tell it them. You break it down to smaller tasks that are solvable by the computer, and then you build in algorithms to solve that. And for that you also have to see the patterns, so what kind of things in this work are repeatable. Then you build pattern repetition so that you don't have to write one line 100 times because you want to transfer 100 lines. No, you just tell them to transfer one line and then go to the next one and repeat the previous step, just like that. So you save yourself a lot of work. You have a look at what kind of functions you can use, and what you also have to look at is abstraction. So what kind of problem are you solving, and what kind of information are not necessary for that? What kind of data can you leave aside. So if the customer is giving an input and you just want to know at what time here has he would like to have an appointment, then you can leave out everything except for the date and maybe the name that you can assign it, and transfer it then to your calendar. For example, have a look if there's space, and then find a spot for it. And you don't have to really check for just for finding the appointment. You don't have to check for what the appointment is for. You just need the time and the date. And then when you have that, you can go back and fill in all the information to it. Yeah, so what you need is deconstruction or decomposing, so separating one difficult task into smaller tasks. Abstraction, looking at only the things that are important for you. Pattern recognition, to see what kinds of things you can repeat and basically solve once and reapply, or you look back and see what kind of solutions you had previously and just reuse them. And then you have the algorithm that you build to solve a problem or to run the program. And it's basically then how you translate the order to the program. Now that's for a computer is good in comparison to a machine, because a machine mostly, like in general, a machine just solves one problem. And if you have a drill, you can only drill with it. You can just make holes with it, and you can't reprogram it then to make some kind of other stuff. You can maybe hack it and put like some other bit and then use it to polish surfaces, or you can put there's this one hack where you put some kind of scissors on top, and then you can use it to stir your your pancake mix, but this is far away from the original purpose and the actual efficient use of a drill. But a computer, you can reprogram it. You can use a computer to play games. You can use a computer to solve mathematical equations. You can use it to store data or watch a movie. And you can use it for all kinds of stuff. Now, the extension complete on the other end is basically your worker. If you have a business and you have your work packages, what you can always do, you don't have to wait for an AI. What I watched a good movie, a good video on YouTube about it. He said you don't have to wait for an AI that your job gets taken away. You can always get someone and outsource the task. So there are many people with clear minds that are bright and that are looking for nice, comfortable jobs that are not in a country where you can just relax on social welfare, or that want to just earn a little bit more money. And they don't need so much money because the living standards are not so high or expensive as in Western nations. They are perfectly fine with a few $100 a month, and they are smart and they want to help out and do work. So if you have a task there, you don't need to automate it with an AI. You can just reformulate it and have someone else do it. So in that case, you have to go in and not use it like in a program language and break the task down into special words and have a look at pattern recognition and everything. But you do have to break the work down in that case, that you tell the person, okay, you get this kind of input. The goal of the task is to have this certain goal, a text, and for example of a certain length, in a certain language, with a specific amount of pictures, maybe with links. You have to tell directly the outcome out of it. And for this also belongs that the person that gets this task knows, okay, our business is about, I don't know, we ship boat engines over Amazon, and for that we need a customer support, or we need someone to have a look over the inventory. We don't want to get a software for that. Right now we just have Excel documents and we want to look at that, and we need the overview. We get like 100 orders a month, and we need a person that has an eye on that. So the person knows, okay, I'm basically just looking at stupid documents, at Excel documents, and have to track what is going in and what is going out. But it also knows that if the person is having any problems that can result in big problems for the whole company and cost the job and lots of money. So the person thinks, okay, I have a very high responsibility, and I can also look into how I can do my job better, and think about, okay, how do I do it the best way? Do I work? Where do I work? What do I use to work? What time do I work? Then if I have the Excel document, do I use different colors for different areas? And how do I find small problems? So things that make my work a little bit difficult, and how can I solve them on a way so that I can do my job, and that makes my job easier with the same outcome, or even a better one, so that my employer, he makes more money, he has less problems with me, he is satisfied with me, and as long as he is happy and he has always a good overview. So maybe I send him a report from time to time. I use Excel documents not only to track the stuff, but I maybe also make some nice graphics. I produce some nice diagrams that I send him once a day, so that he just has with one look, he can see what's going on in the inventory. And then basically the person can go ahead and does a way better job than was expected, because the person knows what is the necessary outcome, not only of his task, but of the whole business. The person can interpret and plan ahead and visualize and go into the head of the employee. A machine or program can't do this. Now, if we have then the fourth alternative for bringing out the task would be with an artificial intelligence. Now we have machine learning. That's basically when you have a program, and that's between the normal program and the person, but it's still, you have to define the goal clearly, and then in certain refrains, the program can do adjustments. So if you tell the program it has to manage that efficiently, and then it has to be defined some kind of reward where it actually gets this reward from, so that it knows, okay, now I'm being more efficient or not. So if it's just about profit maximization, then the program will see that it works 24/7, and that it gets as much work in there as possible, and then we'll try to maybe order only as many machines as is possible and sell the ones, or maybe it will order like as many as possible and then try to also sell them as fast as possible to maximize the amount of revenue, and then as a part of that it will also increase profits, hopefully. Or if profits is just given with a percentage, then we'll just try to sell the engines, and then it turns out like the AI gets super smart and it turns out it sells the boat engines, but it doesn't ship the, it doesn't buy any boat engines, so it has like 100% profit all the time for maybe a few weeks or months, but then nobody really wants to buy them. People are noticing that they don't get anything, they just pay for nothing, and the AI is happy because it doesn't interpret the intentions of the business. It doesn't know like what's the goal of it and what's at stake. But yeah, it's doing stuff like that. Now if we have an AI like a real general artificial intelligence, which basically can also interpret and look into the head of the business owner, then maybe might even predict actions, or not in like with fortune cookie type, but see, okay, I'm looking at how I can sell boat engines, then okay, how can we improve the whole process? It looks out of the box, and maybe also at the advertising, it checks if the supplier is working efficient. It looks at if maybe even the boss is working efficient, and if the boss can do a better job, it gives hopefully suggestions and not violent incentives. But that would be something that, so a general AI that can think ahead and plan and think outside of the box of its restraints and requirements, that would then maybe cost a job, but the AI would think for you. It would help you do a better job. The AI would have to be told, okay, I need you for this and this task. Same that you also can do with a person, and in contrast to the person, it would just use more predictive power to think ahead and to plan and to make the task maybe more efficient in whatever way that it is defined previously. What is efficient? If it's more profit, if it's less work time, if it's like a goal, a ceiling that has to be reached with a minimum amount of work, and it will try to reach that. So then you have just a problem. The difference is like if you have a worker and you have the worker motivated or not, like an AI probably it's unlikely that it has to be motivated, but a worker has to be motivated because the worker has also his self-interest. That's why machines don't have to be paid, but that's why workers have to be paid. Worker wants to have like a win-win. In AI, that would be interesting if an AI wants to have its own interest and gives you, asks you for something in return. A worker wants to have obviously a payment. He wants to be paid for his job, but on top of that, it's also, if you look at the pyramid of needs from Maslow, you have also the requirements of having the safety, which is mostly through pay, but also about like some kind of job security. Also that the jobs is in an area which is safe and not threatening. So the person that is in an industry that constructs like mines or bombs maybe will have a lower feeling of safety than a person that produces very important medicine or first aid equipment. So, and then you have also then, when it goes lower, then the self-actualization, the feeling of importance, the build-up of respect, and this goes then also when you have your job and you enable the person to build up expertise, to improve their own job, so the person not only gets smarter and knows how to do a better job, but also to find ways to improve it and build up the authority of this area. So that's basically what I see is meant if people say leaders don't make followers, they make new leaders, is that the leader is not building a leader to replace himself. He is building a leader for the certain field that the person is getting put into. So that person will be perfect logistician and know everything about logistics. And when it then comes to problems with it, or the company just wants to expand in a certain way, change its scope somehow, then the top leader, the business owner, he will go together with the professionals and discuss with them the plan. He owns a business, so obviously he can decide what to do with it. But if it comes to the proficiency, to the expertise, like he wants to know, okay, if we go in this direction, how does it work with the logistics? What changes have to be done? then he will get together with the logistics expert and get his opinion. Basically, that's if you have good experts, then you come together and tell them, here, I want the company to go in this direction. How can we do this regarding logistics? Where are the problems for the logistics if we go in this direction, and how can we overcome it? And yeah, and not like with some kind of experts that you get that say, no, I know everything about logistics, we don't change anything if we go in this direction. Oh, this is all difficult and we can't do anything about it. It's basically just telling you what can't be done, and yeah, that you can do maybe in government where nothing really changes, but in a company you want to have people that you can take a new task, that you can grow and that you can advance. So yeah, that's basically the four ways to solve tasks in your business. You have machines, you have computer programs, you have workers, and you have an AI, and that AI even separated in a novel AI with like some kind of neural net and a general intelligence that is still a thing of the future and still has to be seen if that actually comes out someday. Yeah, if it's interesting for you, leave a comment, like, subscribe and all that stuff. And I'd like to hear like some comments, maybe if something's interesting. If you have any questions and or ideas for new videos, leave them below. Goodbye.